Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Money Stop. It is a beautiful Monday day here. I don't.
We got an issue. It's privated.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Um, Here, I'll make it
Uh,
public real quick. Uh, should be good now.
okay.
Let me.
Yep, I see it.
There we go. Now it's public. Sorry about that, y'all. Um, Good evening, everybody. Though. Welcome into the Money Stop. My name is CSP. I have Laner alongside me, and we are going to talk some ROCAR tonight. It's been a while since we've chatted with you guys. I believe we had our last episode in September, so we've gone through the holidays now, and we are in the new year, and also a new season is upon us. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We also have a special guest on with us, Aiden. But before we bring him on, let's just catch up for a minute, Laner. Welcome on to the podcast again with me. And How have you been, buddy?
Been good. How have you been? Just getting through the holidays and trying to bring the league back up. So it's been pretty busy.
Yeah, same here, I guess, kind of like just trying to get through each day. And, I've been working a lot and um, kind of bringing myself back into the scene. I've been kind of out of the loop for a while, but just had some stuff going on my end, more personal, and trying to focus on school for a while. Um, but I'm glad that we could make time to have an episode tonight, and um, it's a good distraction from everything going on too in the world right now. But I think we're gonna have some fun tonight, and we have some good topics on the list that we're gonna talk about. So I'm very much looking forward to tonight. With that being said, I would like to welcome on our guest for tonight's episode, um, former full time driver and full time commentator now, Aiden. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome on. I'm not sure, have we had you on before? I believe we've had
Uh,
you on before.
I think we had him on once,
yeah,
Yeah,
I
maybe.
believe I was the first guest after Time Modified, if I have my dates correct.
yeah. Well, we it's been a while since um we've had guests on just in general, and it's nice to have another voice in the room. So welcome on, and I think you will provide a good third voice to tonight's discussions and stuff, and I think the chat is going to enjoy having you on as well. I see the chat's already lit up too, so tonight should be fun. um, all right, well. I just want to roll in with some questions for you, just kind of before we move into the rest of the episode. And Laner has a list of questions as well, so you can feel free to ask anything um, on the list that we have here prepared. Um, but I first wanted to ask you um, how your life has been, your Rocar life has been since retiring fully and moving into more of the commentary scene, especially, taking over kind of for Time Modified. Now you're kind of in the main seat for commentary. So how has your I guess like weekly life changed since moving over to that position?
It's definitely more of a relaxed role, as I can just, be laid back and I can more enjoy what I enjoyed. Because I've really wanted to scratch the itch of commentating since I did the series finale at Texas, I believe. I think I did the playoff races leading up to Texas. And that really, commentating with Time Modified was a bunch of fun, and I've been really wanting to do that again. So finally getting to scratch that itch has been very nice, and I have to be more of a team manager at CFM since I have currently Benji and Jax under contract, and I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to do this season. And I just, I get to build some chemistry with them. I get to, run a little bit of like practice with them to help them get adjusted to the brand new cars because they didn't get a bunch of seat time in the preseason tests.
Mhm.
So any seat time we could get, I jumped at that opportunity, and it's just been a lot more relaxed, and that is probably the best thing I could have asked for.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear. Um,
Um, I guess I had a question. So kind of like going off of what you just said, I'm sure as a team owner, you've been encouraged to see the speed that Jax has brought to the track. Even because he really didn't even hasn't done that many races, but whenever he does race, it seems like he's running up front and competing for wins. And I think we did like a practice race at Auto Club a few weeks ago that had like 5 or 6 people, and he won that race. I was trying to think if it was like an official race, but it wasn't. But regardless, I mean, Jax has been running really well. So, what are your thoughts on him going into this season?
I think he needs a little bit of aggression dialed back. I love an aggressive driver, but a careless and aggressive driver is not what I would want for my team. So we're gonna see if we could get his aggression dialed back a little bit and have more calculated, aggressive moves that aren't gonna impede on the other racers. But I think he's a really sneaky preseason favorite, if you want to call him that, because I mean, like you said, he's shown so much speed so far, and I think he's got it. If he can lock in this year and don't let the over aggressiveness impede on his finishing results, I could see at least top five in points, if not better. Maybe he could even hoist the championship cup. Time shall tell.
um, Aiden, I wanted to ask you, I know obviously this is um, probably been a little bit of a weird time for you. Just, you know, getting used to speaking instead of driving every week. But I wanted to ask you, would you ever hop back in the car again full time in the future? Is it something that you're interested in again down the road, or are you going to be fully retired, um, for the foreseeable future?
Maybe a D2 ride. I would consider that, but I also want to, be. I'm going to college for a communications degree, so I'm gonna ideally get more and more time practicing behind the microphone, so I get more and more comfortable. So this is kind of just a win-win situation. I get to experience the I guess like it feels like an internship. That's like the best way of putting it. Because I mean, this is at least somewhat professional,
Yeah.
and getting to do this every week is great practice. And it even like helps with my vocal cords, gets me used to speaking more and more, and I just love it. But a D2 ride, I definitely could see in the future if there's somebody who is able to stream and commentate for the D2 races, if we have D2 again.
Well,
Um, so I know that you are attempting to qualify for the 500 this week. But my question is, are there any other races this season that you might try to race in, or is this just a strictly the only race of the year that you're going to try to race in?
I was considering the ROCAR Salutes race because I mean, I like Charlotte, and I've had a definitely hit or miss relationship with that track. I've ran either really well or really poorly, and it's definitely one of those races you want to win. And it's the closest track since I also live in NC with Craigus, it is my hometown track. So winning there would be, extra special. And it's also you get to run pretty cool paint schemes, so that's a bonus.
Um, I want to move to a detailed topic that everybody's been talking about since it came out, the schedule. I can't show the video on here, but I will go over the full schedule just so, you know, at least I can share that part. Because we put out a video yesterday and I think it got taken down or something like that. Um, so it was reposted in the server, but obviously I cannot play it uh, over the podcast because it's too big. Um, but just to go over the full list, if I can find it, where is it? Hold on. Let's see here. So first, we're going to be rolling out of the gates with Talladega, and then a West Coast Swing esque trap or travel, going to Las Vegas Auto Club, Phoenix, and then hitting Coda on the way back to the East Coast. And then we're going to go to Charlotte, New Atlanta, Sonoma, Bristol, Richmond, Darlington, Nashville, Iowa, and the Milwaukee Mile closes the regular season. Um, I guess, we can start with just the regular season races. Overall, there is 18 races scheduled for this season. Um, so I first want to ask you, Aiden, which tracks out of these 14, these first 14, um, do you like? Are you looking forward to going to? Um, you know, is there any that sticks out to you, um, just from a commentary perspective?
Um, I mean, probably. Hold on. Let me pull up the schedule again because I know I had it like
We have
like
some
2 seconds. I
some
found it.
break-in guests here, by the way, too.
Yeah, I'm chilling with one of them right now.
Let's
Probably Auto Club though. I have strong bias to Auto Club, and and since it's my first, uh, or probably the closest I was to dominating a day, and it was. I'm looking forward to that track, and I think even the last race we had there, the college football rivalry week was pretty fun too. So I don't know. That would be nice. Also, I'm looking for New Atlanta. I think New Atlanta is going to be a very interesting experience. Either it's going to work really well or it's going to work not so well. I'm leaning towards being optimistic and it working well. And if it races anything like IRL Atlanta, that's going to be an absolute barn burner. And we're going to see, hopefully, handling matter in that race. And you're going to have to preserve your tires.
yeah.
Also, Martinsville. I've been a big Martinstown supporter, and I think Martinsville with these new cars is going to be also very hit or miss. If it hits, it's going to be, I'd say, the race of the season. If it misses, it's probably going to look a lot like the Xfinity 2025 spring or fall race because both of those were not very good.
Yeah. Well, just in my view from looking at the schedule here in front of me, there's a couple that stick out to me. Like you said, New Atlanta, Martinsville. Um, I think one that really sticks out to me is Bristol, just because the last car, like we could not Bristol just was not an option. Same with Martinsville. Martinsville was just not an option. And that's why Martinstown was kind of created, um, uh, among some other reasons. But I'm very particularly interested in like how the short tracks will handle this season. Um, and I'm pretty sure with Richmond, we are not going back to the Richmond that like has been historically raced at. It's a much more updated version of the track, so the cars will handle differently, the racing will be different, and the car will behave differently there. and that's obviously still to be seen with this new car. But I think the short tracks are really what stand out to me this season, as well as Iowa. Iowa, I'm not sure if we're racing at the same Iowa, or if it's going to be the newer version, just because I have not tested any laps at those tracks, most of those tracks yet. Um, One that also sticks out to me though is Sonoma, just because, again, the previous car we could not run at Sonoma very well there, but this version of Sonoma that's updated seems to be much more laid out, and there's much more space to move around. And with the car, the car handles beautifully there, so I think should be a good race to watch. And I'm looking forward to it. Might even have to hop in the car for that one. I think it would be a fun weekend to race in. Um, but looking around at the rest of the schedule, I think Homestead will be a very good finale. I like Homestead as a finale. But those are some of the tracks that I'm watching. Laner, how about you?
May I comment on Bristol because I did get to see a race there, a
Yeah, go ahead.
preseason
Yeah,
race.
yeah. Feel free.
Uh, I mean Bristol, you definitely have to learn braking. Like, I hate to throw Wendigo under the bus here, but he was eating wall every lap, and uh, it same with CD too. So it depends. It's gonna really depend on the drivers. If they can stay out of the wall, I think it's gonna be awesome because we got to see Lego and Kragus and Land have a phenomenal battle those last 30 laps, and that was absolute peak cinema. And I'm pretty optimistic we can run there again. So we could see part two to that battle, and maybe even I think it was Lego who ended up on top.
Yeah, Lego won Bristol.
Yeah, so maybe Kragus will get his revenge. I don't know. Or Land. I believe Land got dumped late in the race. So,
The chat is definitely gonna take that what you just said in a different direction, but
yeah.
um, but I mean, there this schedule is maybe the best schedule we've ever had, just because it's the most diverse tracks, and like with this car, we don't know what we're gonna see. There are so many unknowns, but um, just from the preseason and running at some of the tracks, I think that has kind of um, it's left kind of a taste of like what's to come. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Um, it's less left a taste in everybody's mouth of what's to come. And there are plenty of opportunities this season to win some races. So um, I think it'll be a good season. I'm looking forward to it. Laner, I don't know if anything jumped out at you on the schedule when you were both creating it and you know, putting it out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really think all of these tracks have the chance to be really good races. I don't really see a single track on there that I think could be a bad race. Whereas in the old car, we kind of went to a few tracks that we kind of knew weren't the best, but we still went to them. Kind of like, I mean, every track in the old car was really not great. Let's be honest. Um, but we would go to tracks in the old car knowing that it probably wouldn't be the best racing. But I really think all of these tracks have the opportunity to be really good. And I'm excited to see how it ends up going, especially with the multi groove and dirty air and stuff. But we definitely have a lot of good tracks. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to shift gears into our next topic yet, but this kind of um, meshes with our next topic of takeaways and like what to look forward to. Um, so I guess Aiden, I'll ask you: um, is there a particular driver that you think will hit the ground running this season? like out of the gates be fast or um, may win a couple of races off the bat? Um, and is there a driver that you think will just downright suck every week, um, or just really struggle to find the balance with the car, um, and really like to struggle overall?
Um, I'd have to say Lego for the driver that's gonna immediately hit the ground running. I mean, he looked so comfortable these first few preseason races. And I mean, he said that this car fits his driving style more, which you cannot ask for more
Hmm.
when you get a brand new car. So, and he finally got a win too. And I think, like he said that that got a giant monkey off his shoulder, and now he can think more clearly, and not have that looming weight of you've been winless since season 4 anymore. But shifting gears into a driver that's gonna suck. I really hate to say this, Laner, but you did not show any speed whatsoever. I mean, you showed a little bit of flash at Las Vegas, but outside of that, you just kind of you were there most weeks as a field filler, and of course, I'm wishing you the best, but you can only do so much wishing. You gotta, have some performance.
I think it's fair. I kind of knew you were gonna say that.
I was gonna say, let
I
me have a
I I
response.
expected it. No, I expected it. But I completely agree. I would say Lego as well. I mean, I not to take anything away from Craigus or Land because I think Craigus and Craigus and Lego to me personally, I don't know Aiden if you would agree. You probably have a different perspective than me. I would say Craigus and Lego to me stood out the most. Not to say that Land or other drivers weren't as fast, but I feel like Craigus and Lego have the most raw speed right now. And I'll also say Parker, not to have any SSR bias or anything, but I think Parker has a good amount of speed as well. I don't think he's up there on the same level as Craigus or Lego, but he also was kind of a surprise to me. Um, just talking about drivers from the old game transitioning into the new game, I didn't expect Lego or Parker to come out of the gates with this much speed. Um, I expected it from Craigus and Land. I didn't expect it as much from um, Parker or Lego, and not to sound like I'm calling out my team or anything, but that's the way I saw it.
I also agree with your statement on Craigus. Craigus has kind of followed the career of Bubba Wallace. He usually does better as the season progresses and has a pretty slow start. So him seeing or us seeing him start so fast, such early into a season, I'm slightly worried he's peaking too early. But if he can keep that momentum going for I think what 16 or it's at 18 weeks we do this, he might be a serious championship contender. And Parker's definitely taken a big step forward. I remember him. He was usually running what last to second to last, and now he's up there battling for the lead. Like Watkins Glen, I know it's a road course, but he swept the stages. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the deal done, but he was showing a massive amount of speed, and he looked like a veteran out there. He was making no mistakes. He was smooth, calm with his wheel, not into the wall. And if he can do that every week, I think at least he can be in the postseason, if not better.
I agree.
Is there, and I'll ask both of you guys this, is there a team that you guys think will struggle this year? I know we talked about drivers, um, but let's talk about team overall, and as an organization. We have some powerhouse teams, and then we have some of the up and coming teams. Um, is there a team that sticks out to you that you think will struggle this year immensely?
Uh,
Um,
I'll. Do you want to answer first or me?
uh, I I was gonna say if I had to pick one, not because I think the drivers on this team aren't talented, But CFM worries me a little bit because Benji's been having issues with running the game on consoles, so I don't know how his attendance is going to be. And then Jax also is kind of iffy with attendance. At least last season he was. So that team just kind of worries me because I don't know like if those drivers are going to be there every week, that kind of thing. Um, so other than that, I mean, that would be the only thing that concerns me. I really think every driver on the roster is really talented. So if everybody shows up, I think anybody could win any given race.
Yeah, I mean your concerns are valid. Benji has just he's I don't know. I guess the game isn't very well developed on console yet, so there's of course technical issues that need to be worked out. And if that doesn't get ironed out by Vegas, you can. It's a little bit sketch if he's able to make the postseason or not. But assuming with that, I think he'll be fine. And then Jax, of course, he's been a little bit over aggressive in his starts, so assuming if he riles it back and he's able to run more controlled and less just careless aggression, I think he'll be all right. But CFM is probably the only team that would struggle. Except, I mean, I could see a world where GFM has another mid-season collapse where just people do not get along anymore. We've seen it happen before, and I don't think it'll happen this season. But nobody has ever said, "Yeah, I think GFM is going to have a split," and then early in the season. I mean, we've seen it with Kragus, and we've seen it with Fadio, and we've even seen Wendigo and Kragus split off on their own to make their own team. So if that happens again, I wouldn't be, the most shocking thing in the world, but I'm not betting on it. That's what I would say.
Kind of going off of that, and I don't want to get off topic too much, but I don't see too many issues like that happening in this car, just because I feel like a lot of these issues happened in the old car because every single week it was literally just Daytona. And we were all just wrecking into each other and getting pissed off with each other, um, and just things like that. So I really think that this new car is going to be really good for the league. Um, Not only in terms of the racing, but also for how people treat each other. Because I think it's a lot easier for us to be nicer to each other when we're not bump drafting and wrecking each other all the time, compared to if we are spread out and having, um, this type of racing. So I really think it'll be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well,
can. Uh,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead,
all right.
and then I'll go after you.
I completely agree. I didn't really think of that much. Yeah, this car just gets so much more spread out. But I also feel like mistakes are greatly punished. Like if somebody accidentally fences you, that's going to cost you at least 3 seconds. And in that aspect, if that happens in a late race and there's no caution, you're going to be absolutely pissed.
Yeah.
So outside of that, I think yeah, everyone's going to be less on top of each other, and there's going to be more laps of just running by yourself, hitting your marks, and you're not going to have anyone else to blame, but yourself if you like hit the wall and you're trying to run down fourth or whatever. So in that aspect, yeah, you make a really good point.
You know, the one thing that I can clearly differentiate between the old car and this car is how much more precise you have to be. Like Aiden just mentioned it, with just hitting your marks every lap and kind of making sure that like your car is under control before you worry about everybody else's. I feel like the other game and the older cars, the original cars, you were always worried about like what everybody else was gonna do because you're inches away from other cars and you don't have much room to kind of get in a rhythm and feel out your own car and um, making consistent lap time. So it was much harder to be successful as an individual driver with the older cars, and I think that this car is going to be much more challenging for those that are um, not adjusted yet to running on your own, and making lap time on your own without other cars kind of within your direct vicinity. Um, so I think it's going to be very interesting um, to watch kind of how the season unfolds with some of these drivers who have gotten used to racing that way and will now have to readjust their driving style and kind of catch up with the other drivers that have already adjusted, if that makes sense. But I wanted to throw that out there because that, like, while testing the cars, the differences, that is like one of the biggest differences that I've noticed. And watching the races too. The racing is so much more different now, and I think has gotten so much of a positive response from the drivers that have been around for a while. And know the differences between both cars. I think that feedback has been very crucial in making the cars, um, very different today and as successful as they can be. So,
Yeah, I completely agree. Um, I guess we kind of already went into this rabbit hole, but I don't know if we wanted to talk about go into the preseason a little bit more. I guess we kind of already talked about it like with Lego and stuff, but I don't know if we wanted to discuss how we thought the racing was or who really stood out or anything like that.
I mean, I'd like to make some comments about Wendigo because he's in a very weird middle ground. It seems he isn't up there leading a bunch of laps, dominating races, but he also isn't. He's just in the like third place range, and uh, I think I just want to know what you guys think so far, because I mean, he's kind of been in that range since what 2 seasons ago. He's been a good driver, but when is he going to take that step into like legendary status, like a land, like a CSP or laner?
So my thoughts on Wendigo, and I've always thought this. I thought he was truly elite in the old cars and being able to. He would lead for like 90% of races. He was really good at finding his way to the front. He was really good at blocking. But a lot of times he wouldn't win races because of not even fault of his own. He would get wrecked or whatever. That's kind of how the old car was. You really it was just luck a lot of times. Um, but with Wendigo, I mean, I think he hasn't done bad in these new cars. Like it could be worse. Just look at how I'm doing. So for him, I will say I think I wouldn't be concerned with his performance. Like yes, he's running mid pack. He's running around third or fourth most weeks, but like that you can improve on that. It's a lot better than not finding speed until the last 30 laps of the last race like I did. So I'm not too concerned with Wendigo. I think he'll be okay.
and let's keep in mind too that, like, this is the preseason, so this is a time for a lot of the drivers to find their speed in the cars, and find where they're best suited. Um, like Laner, I know we had a conversation the other night that, Vegas, you had finally figured out the cars, um, but it took you the entire preseason to kind of um, find the style that fit you the most. So, you know, there is more potential for when you guys hit Vegas and you guys, really can find that speed that you've been searching for the entire preseason. Um, and just I think I don't know. I think this season's going to have a lot of surprises too. I'm particularly interested in some of the drivers who may show out more in the second half of the season. So hold on, looking back at the schedule. Um, so like probably more after race number 7. That's New Atlanta. So who would shine more at Sonoma and farther on from there? Um, because there is a couple of weeks before Atlanta where there's a good variety of tracks. So, I think a lot of drivers will experiment. And I think that this preseason, the biggest takeaway for me has been, um, watching how many drivers experiment with their cars and their strategy. Obviously, I talk about strategy a lot on this damn podcast. Um, because it's such an important factor into the races, and I think is going to matter now more than anything, um, in terms of pitting and lap times, and you know it's going to be very important this season. With everything being more stretched out. So
Yeah, and kind of going off of that, I will say every single track you have to approach so differently. Like, I would say the intermediates are similar, but like it's just so different. Because I kind of went into the preseason going to Milwaukee expecting it to be like the old game. And I was really good at Milwaukee in the old game, and I just completely sucked at Milwaukee in this car. So you kind of really have to like retrain the way that you approach every track. And I think in this car, every track is so different. Like, um, I mean, I would say Iowa and Milwaukee are very similar tracks, um, but the way you approach those two tracks in this new car are just completely different. Or Gateway and Phoenix, they're very similar tracks, but they're going to be completely different in the way that you approach them. Whereas in the old car, I mean, it was kind of the same thing. You didn't really have to race the car as much as you're racing. I don't know. I think you get what I'm trying to say. Like, you're not really racing the track as much. You're really just trying to like focus on your line more. But in this car, like, you really have to um like execute everything. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it really puts an emphasis a lot more than it used to.
yeah, for sure. um, Aiden, I don't know if you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, um, talking about your strategy. That's I hate to bring up old topics, but that's also partially why I retired. I much prefer doing race strategy because that was when we did the ARCA things. That was some of my favorite things to do. But I also think strategy and more team strategy is going to take a lot of a different shift this season due to the chat updates and how some players cannot see your chats. Like if I wanted to do race strategy, I couldn't because my account is 21 up, and Benji and Jax cannot see my messages, and I cannot see theirs. So that's something I would look out for this season, and it's going to be definitely an interesting thing. I think drivers are going to have to make their own strategies instead of relying on their teammates.
Okay. It's a bold prediction.
Yeah, also I'll say, I guess we probably should have talked about this when we were talking about the schedule, but it'll be interesting to see with the super speedways being on the old game. It's kind of weird. You just have like two wild card races in the schedule that are on a completely different game with completely different cars. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just weird because the points will still count the same. So you can win a race on the old game and it still counts towards the season. So I don't know. That's kind of a weird little thing that's going to be going on this season.
Yeah, I mean, let me look back. I think there's only one super speedway on here, if I'm not
Well,
mistaken.
New
Atlanta as
Atlanta.
well.
Oh, Atlanta, yeah, duh. Um, so yeah, I mean, might be interesting, but I think it's gonna present an opportunity for some of the drivers who will struggle because Atlanta's still pretty early in the season too. Um, so it's probably going to present an opportunity to some of the drivers who are more experienced and um, you know have more seat time in the other cars, as well as like it fitting their driver style more for the time being while they adjust to the new car. I think it's going to present an opportunity for them to maybe have more of a chance to win the race. Not saying like that's my preview for the weekend, but um, I think it's going to favor them more than the newer drivers who have had less seat time. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see. It could very well be anybody's race too, because you know everybody has been out of those cars for quite some time now, and you know, not coming back to that game and switching over to completely new cars can have an effect too. So it could really go either way, but I think that that is going to be something to watch out for too. Those experienced veterans.
I agree. And I guess that would be kind of a good time to go into the talking about the races this weekend, as long as anybody else didn't have anything else to touch on with the other stuff.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I'm good.
Nothing from me.
Um, I'll go through just the weekend lineup, just as I always do with the races. So it starts off on Thursday. Duel number one will kick off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the second duel race will go green shortly after the first duel finishes. Um, and the locked in drivers automatically to the big show are Laner, Land, Kragus, Wendigo, Lego, and Jax. The dual lineups are set randomly, but all the open cars that are not locked in already will race in the second duel. Um, I don't believe that we have actual like information for the 500, but um, I assume that information will probably be out soon. Um, but it'll be very interesting to see who gets into the big race. I'm not quite sure. Um, there's going to be a lot of people racing in the duels, I think. So, um, it'll be interesting to see who exactly shows up and who gets in and who's going to be the one left out on this weekend. So,
Yeah, there's that seems like there's a lot of interest for the race. The 500 normally always has a lot of people that want to race in it, but I think the dual races will be really interesting, especially if we have a few more people that end up attending, because we already have 11 people checked, which means we're gonna have 5 cars per duel at least. So it should be really interesting, and I wonder how desperate it might get in the second duel with the open cars, because I know that this is a race that everybody wants to make it into.
yeah, it's the most prestigious and most um, the highest race that you can really um, take away and win. Um, if you win the race, um, it's a career defining moment. I think. I've had the privilege of winning the race. I know Land has also had the privilege of winning the race. In um, a very sneaky moment, but looking back on it now, like moments like that, um, it's what makes this league so special too. Just with moments like that, it's moments you never forget, but um, they're also moments that create the memory of never forgetting it, and everybody who witnessed it. So
Yeah.
I think, things like that, this race creates unforgettable memories, and very, very special moments. So whoever wins this weekend, you'll remember it for the rest of your career, how that final lap unfolds for you.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna win that race for a second in season one. Because you guys got together and I was behind you. I was like, oh man, but I think I finished second. I don't know. I either beat you or Land to the line like in a photo finish. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was hoping you guys were gonna wreck a little bit more so I could
Concerned.
get by. But unfortunately not.
Yeah, I think that you finished second because the way I spun out, I
Yeah,
believe
I
I
think you
I
finished
finished third.
third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a crazy finish nonetheless. But we've also had some crazy duels as well in the past several seasons. Um, when we raced in season two or season three, it was so long ago now. And we had different cars. we had the closest finish, I believe, in history with those cars in that duel race. I believe it was between Clocks and somebody else. I forget who it might have been. Forgive me, but um, we had the closest finish in history in that duel race. So, you know, things like that, also create excitement and unforgettable moments. So, just something to keep in mind. I don't know. Lego set saying in the chat if it was the Landon Kragus tie. I don't know if it was Landon Kragus. Um, it might have been. Maybe my memory is serving me wrong, but um, I could have sworn Clocks was involved in that finish. But um, nonetheless, whoever it was between, we still had um, one of the closest finishes in history, in our road car history at Talladega between the duels and the finish of the 500. Um, but you know this weekend could easily be another one of those moments with these cars, with these older cars, just because we've seen so many of those moments already, and there's so much more. What's it called? What's the right word? There's so much more. I think excitement um, for kind of like a new era starting. So I think it will present as like a fresh opportunity for people to start off on the right foot and the right slate for this season. Um, I'm very much looking forward to it. Aiden, I want to cut over to you though because I know that we've kind of been going back and forth, me and Laner, but I want to get your thoughts, maybe on what you're looking forward to this weekend the most, and what you're kind of looking at from the commentary side.
I mean, this is gonna be my second ever if I DNQ, of course, which fingers crossed I don't. But if I do DNQ, this is gonna be my second time commentating this, and I have more experience, and I'm gonna be, hopefully better than I was last season. And of course, this is my chance to commentate the best race of the season, and uh, maybe I could have a gettable call, like the 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. But if I don't DNQ, then I get to, like you said, have a career defining movement. And there's a solid chance if I won it, I would just retire and never race D1 again. Because, I mean, going out with a win is the most you can ask for. But also, just I get to see my team. Let's see how we could work together and uh, get some teamwork, because that is a thing you really need in this. You need to trust who you're aligned with. Like Laner, you're gonna have to trust Parker and Lego to not leave you out to dry, and everyone at GFM, BIP, Wendigo, Land, and Craigus, they're gonna have to trust each other. That they're not gonna just jump lanes to advance their track position and to leave their drivers hanging out for like a stage win or later in the race. Because if you have distrust in your organization, I don't think your organization finds victory lane. Because we saw last season with Bip having Wendigo play defense for him, you need to have your friends out front or with you. Apologies.
Yeah. Later, anything you want to add?
No, I mean that sounds right. Hit the nail on the head. I mean that sounds exactly right to me. But I think Talladega is kind of a track that it hasn't historically been two lanes, so um I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's just going to be a one grooved track, um, which it normally is, and really to who doesn't get involved in the most wrecks or who doesn't get involved in any wrecks. Because whenever all the cars get linked up on the bottom like that, really the only way that you can advance your position is if the people ahead of you wreck or if somebody just slips up for some reason. Um, but other than that, there really isn't a lot of movement. So I don't really know what to expect. I mean, I think we've raced Talladega in these cars so much that we kind of know what to expect. It's not the most exciting race, but we hang on for about an hour and a half and we see who's the lucky one at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be very exciting to watch. It is typically, like you said, a one groove, one lane kind of race. But there's also some drivers that, will form a second lane to make up positions. So I wonder who will be those people, and, when will be the right time to make the move as well. We've seen in plenty of races at Talladega, people make the moves at the wrong time, on the final lap of either the stage or the finish, or the final lap of the race, coming to the finish. They make moves at the wrong time, some make moves at the right time. So I think it'll be interesting to watch, the driver mentality and the intensity, of the ROCAR 500. So um, you'll have to catch it this weekend. Um, and we look forward to Aiden's commentary, and I think it's going to be an exciting race. So looking forward to it. Something, I didn't have planned to talk about. Laner and I didn't include it on our outline. NASCAR today announced that they are returning to the chase format, for the playoffs. Do you guys think you would ever explore that, um, in the future for the future seasons, um, and converting and kind of staying with the times, um, to going to a chase format, for
Well,
ROCAR?
it's kind of funny you asked that because there've been some discussions on the board today. Because keep in mind the season has not started yet, so it's still
Hmm.
fair game to switch the format.
Right.
Um, I'll just say there will be an announcement probably before the 500. There will be an announcement before the 500 because we will announce this before the season starts,
Right.
about the format that we will be using for the playoffs or whatever you want to call the postseason in ROCAR next year. But there have been ongoing discussions on the board about that exact topic.
Interesting. All right. Well, I brought it up at a good time then.
It's kind of crazy you did bring that up. I didn't expect to get asked that, but
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up just because I was genuinely curious because this is always the format that we followed since the season or since the league started. Um, and I didn't anticipate NASCAR was actually going to change anything, so I'm pleasantly surprised. But I mean, they actually did something good for once on changing something. So, um, I think if you guys were to change it, I think the chase format would also, um, create excitement. If you guys were to elect to go to that format, I think that would also be pretty exciting for moving forward in the league.
well, actually, you know what? It since this has already been agreed on within the board, and a lot of people listen to this podcast. Let me just make a little announcement then. I'm going to keep some details out because not everything's ironed out. But I will say we will be moving to a chase style format for this season, and it'll be a six race chase with six drivers that'll be eligible. That's really all I have right now because we haven't really discussed the finer details. We've talked about the points format and stuff a little bit, but other than that, it's really all I have. We will be going away from the traditional format, going to a six race chase, and six drivers will make the chase.
So, just so I have it right, because I'm looking at the schedule, would the chase
And the
start
schedule
after
got
Iowa?
moved around a little bit.
Okay, all right,
Uh,
That's not finalized.
yeah, so yeah, the schedule will get moved around a little bit because yeah, we're gonna move it around a little bit. so we will release an updated schedule.
All right. Well, that's pretty exciting to know. Um, I'm gonna put something out in the Discord if you guys want to keep yapping for a second. But
I don't know. I guess what is there to yap about? I guess we could yap about the new format. I was kind of disappointed with it being 16 drivers. I was hoping they were gonna do the Daytona again, or not Daytona. I'm tweaking. Uh, the wild card format. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I kind of wish if in real life, I think they should have done like 12, 13 drivers. Maybe 12. I think 12 would be a good number. I don't really like 16, but
16 just feels too padded. You know they are not going to win the championship, and if they do, then I think somebody is not going to be here, not going to be very happy within the community. So that's what
I
I worry
mean,
about.
if the 16th seeded driver wins in this format, I mean, more power to him. That's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
fan base is going to burn itself down.
That would be pretty crazy.
yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. Um, I mean, I didn't really have anything else on the agenda to talk about tonight. But that was a pretty crazy. Um, I'm gonna call it a laner bomb. Um, that was a pretty crazy laner bomb tonight. But I mean, a very exciting one to look forward to for all the drivers this season. And I think it'll definitely change some of the drivers' mentalities, but it'll also change how some of these teams approach these races now. You know, it'll change some of their strategies too, because now if we're going along with the chase format by bullet, winning a race doesn't automatically mean that you are guaranteed a spot in the chase. So you're really going to have to work for it now, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of the teams will adjust their strategy to put in more practice time and seat time because you know that really means that you're really going to have to be on your game, and perform like you've never performed before. Um, so I think it'll be interesting to watch. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'll say kind of the reason that uh these discussions started, at least for me personally, was just whenever you think about a one race finale in the new cars, there's just so many variables that can happen. Like Aiden kind of mentioned this earlier, but like the mistakes in this car are amplified. Like if you get spun out with how slow the acceleration in these cars are, you're gonna at least be 3 seconds back, and you're hoping for a caution. And you also have the dirty air that's a factor, or you know, just different things like that. It's a lot harder to make moves and make passes in this car. Um, so I don't know how it would work with a one race finale. Like you're talking about restarting, I don't know, last place on the final restart. Um, and you have to win the race to win the championship. Like what are the odds that you're going to do that
Right,
in
right.
a 9 car field? I wouldn't say that they're very high because it's just so hard. Like once the field gets strung out, it's really difficult to make moves. So I think a larger sample size is what's best for everybody, because whenever you get down to one race, I mean anything can happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aiden.
I do have
Yeah.
one question.
Hmm.
Is the new Atlanta race also going to be on old ROCAR, or is it going to be hopefully in time for new ROCAR?
As of right now, the plan is for it to be on the old game.
All right, gotcha.
And that should be interesting in itself too because we haven't raced there in the old cars. So um, it'll be interesting to see. Um, all right. Well, I think that's a good end to another good episode. Um, Apologies again to our viewers for coming on a little later than we expected. Um, we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, and trying to get up and running. Um, I run all of the background stuff like OBS and streaming on YouTube, so it's trying to get everything up and running at the same time is a bit of pain in the neck, and then OBS doing OBS things. So, thank you for holding out with us. Hopefully on the next episode we'll be a little better with the timing on my end, especially. Um, but thank you guys again for hopping on, um, and thank you to Aiden for being our special guest for the episode. Um, Hopefully we can have some more guests on this season. I think it would be great to start welcoming on some guests again. We took a little bit of a break with doing that last season. It was more of just me and Laner talking for a lot of the episodes. So, hopefully we can get back to having some guests on.
Before we hop off, Parker asked in general if we wanted to make picks on who we think's going to advance out of the open cars.
Okay, I did not see that. Does anybody want to start?
And shoot, we might as well give our 500 picks too.
Yeah,
Uh,
I completely forgot about that. I was just thinking about that too.
I guess I'll start. I'll break the ice. I think the people that will advance are Bip, Parker, and probably Benji. I think mainly Parker and Benji because they have, they can make the chase. They're serious contenders. And I think that won't and if they DNQ this race, that's going to be a lot of points to make up. So I think they're going to be in the mindset they got to make it and they're going to go full on out. And then I think Bip hasn't been in a car for a while. That slightly concerns me. But he's also the defending race winner, and he made it in the duels last time. Who says he can't make it again? So that's my pick. But my pick for the ROCAR 500 champion is going to be Wendigo. He's one hell of a super speedway racer, and he could have won it last year. He just decided to sit in line and let Bip win it. So I think he does it one better this time, and he wins the whole race.
All
Um,
right.
well, I guess we can go down the line here. I'll go next. So recent discovery, actually. I actually work on Thursday night, so I don't know if I will be able to actually make the duels. Um, so I'm going
Ooh.
to sit myself out, at least for right now. Um, and I'm going to go with, I think, Parker. Um, I think Benji's going to get in, and mm, I think Aiden. Um, just because again we are on the old game, so I think that um, those that have been racing longer and have more seat time, I think are going to be a little more experienced at Talladega, especially. And not to say some of the others aren't, but I think that I think those three will make it in. As far as race winner, I'm gonna double down and I'm gonna also go with Wendigo. Just because, kind of piggybacking off of what Aiden said, I think that Wendigo has been trying for many, many seasons now to win the 500, and he's aggressive at the right time, and I like that. And this race with these cars, you need to be very, very aggressive. Um, and I think that he's going to make the move at the right time to win the race. And I feel good about my pick. I feel good about it. So I'm gonna go with Wendigo, and I'm locking it in. All right, Laner, you are up next.
Well, I was going to pick you to advance, but since you're unsure, I'm not going to pick you. I will say I'm going to go with the same as you. I'm going to pick Aiden, Benji, and Parker. Um, I I think it's gonna be it'll be crazy though because we've never seen this time whoever is racing for Time's team
I think
Keezy.
yeah.
I don't know if that's how you say his name. Yeah, we've never seen him race in these cars, and we know that Bip is really good at super speedways. I mean, I think Bip is the defending winner of this race, so um, I don't know. Okay, let me change my picks. Bip literally won this race last year. How can you not pick him to advance? I'll go with Bip, Parker, and Aiden. Bip, Parker, and Aiden. Um, and I'm really splitting hairs there between Benji and Parker because I think they're both really talented super speedway racers. My pick to win the race, um, I'll go with Craigus. I think Craigus finds ways to be in good spots at the end of super speedways a lot. And he has won the 500 before, so I know he's capable of doing it.
All right. Well, all good picks, and we'll have to see who wins the race this weekend. The biggest race, arguably, of this season, coming up this weekend. Do not miss it. The ROCAR 500 going to be kicking off a historic season for ROCAR this weekend. We won't quite see the tracks or the cars out on track yet that we've been waiting for, but you know we are nonetheless kicking off the season this weekend, and we'll be back in action with a new episode next week. If there's nothing else that we wanted to talk about, I think we're good to wrap up. But Aiden, again, thank you for hopping on tonight. Appreciate you coming on as a special guest for us. Hopefully, we can have you on a future episode if you are interested in coming back.
100%. I mean, I love getting to do this podcast because, I mean, I get to share my opinions, and I am a guy who has plenty of opinions.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to your commentary this season too. Um, good luck in the commentary booth, and have a great season. And we look forward to your calls every week.
Uh, Thank you. I mean, it's an honor to get to commentate every week and do what I truly love doing. And I thank you for letting me be on this podcast. And uh, it, it's just an honor.
Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate having you. And you are welcome back at any time. Um, for now, that is going to wrap up another episode of the Money Stop. From Laner and myself, we hope you both, or we hope you all have a great night from the both of us. And we will see you back here next week for another episode. Yeah, have a great night, guys.
See you guys.